what? Look at this, crashing into vehicles. 1, 2, 3 innocent motorists just dragging them along, trying to get around and crashing into everybody and everything in his way. On either side of him, he's going to he's going to get into another head-on collision here. There it is, head-on collision into an SUV. We are seeing pulled dozens of, and you can see he is still straddling the double yellow lines, crashing into another vehicle. That.
Long Beach, California, in one of the most dangerous and destructive police pursuits in recent times. A man driving a stolen work truck erratically on freeways and major streets from downtown Los Angeles to Long Beach on Friday, March 28, 2025, striking several vehicles before crashing into a paint store parking lot and carelessly driving away from the scene. The chase began around 2:45 p.m. near Harbor Highway 110 and Adams Street, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. The truck was stolen from an auto body shop in South Los Angeles. The truck owner stopped the truck and entered the repair shop to collect money, but left the truck running in their parking lot. The suspect jumped behind the wheel and drove off. The driver navigated the surface roads, then onto southbound San Gabriel River Highway 605, striking numerous vehicles, at times exceeding 100 miles per hour. The suspect later made his way through the streets of Whittier, crossing medians, and striking numerous other vehicles as he veered wildly through traffic. He sometimes drove on the shoulder of a busy road, striking countless additional vehicles.
Or he has been going the wrong way. LAPD now trying to get this guy off the road. We'll see if it ends here on surface streets or what he decides to do. But now they've got more surface street traffic to contend with as they try and catch up with this runaway work truck. Again, only the driver in the front there as far as we are aware. Again, this is reported as a stolen vehicle. So a grand theft auto suspect behind the wheel here now with a little bit of empty roadway to play with. Still going to be very difficult. This is not the type of vehicle that's going to be very easy to pit by any means. In fact, most likely a pit maneuver probably not an option just from my vantage point, but you can see it is a flatbed truck that's going to be a little bit top heavy in any event, guys. Especially this time of the day and this type of traffic, and certainly if he continues at this rate on surface streets, we're going to start to see a little more of that pedestrian traffic. Now you can see he is just really looking to squeeze through, and we're seeing some really wild lane changes on top of it. And again, he has had no problem running through red lights, running through stop signs earlier on in this chase, and no problem traveling on the wrong side of the road. Even on the freeway when he was running into a traffic jam, he was just riding the shoulder as narrow as it was. And now look at, once again, really coming close to some of this other traffic here. Really could care less about the condition of this vehicle. Could care less about anybody else on the road here. Comes another red light right around traffic here. He's going through it, and he's continuing now eastbound on Whittier Boulevard, where there is stop-and-go traffic at various major intersections here, and it's going to cause a problem. Now you can see LAPD closing in on him. They are not giving this up easily at all. Let's go ahead and count them, Robbie. 1, 2, 3, 4 black and whites pursuing the suspect, and an LAPD helicopter right overhead calling it all. You can see him now continuing to slow down a little bit. We'll go ahead and put up our real-time speed tracker to get a more accurate reading here, and I think it's going to be right around, let's say, 50, 60 miles per hour, so just above the speed limit here on Whittier Boulevard. Well, we were told that it was flat. It looks like it's a little wobbly there, but it's a dually, and it looks to be behaving okay for the most part. So we were told that there might be a flat tire there, and it sure appears that there is some damage, but it doesn't really appear. Look at this. Oncoming lanes of traffic over the median, almost a head-on collision. Another wild move here. just jumping over that median without any regard here, squeezing through both lanes of traffic. This is getting crazy, and LAPD is going to have a serious decision to make here in very short order if this continues. This pursuit just took on a whole different profile. When you start seeing that kind of desperation behind the wheel here, he is in very, very real danger of getting somebody hurt, very seriously hurt. He is now traveling southbound on Washington Boulevard. Somebody crossing the street here, now going the wrong way. Light traffic here, but it just takes one wrong move, and he is going to hurt somebody. Look at this. Let's look up ahead here. Traffic coming right in his direction. Everybody swerving to their right. He is traveling on the inside lane, right over that median, and he's coming up on cross traffic. There comes a collision. Just made contact with cross traffic there and continuing right through Chatfield Avenue, southbound Washington Boulevard. A runaway driver here traveling at a very fast clip and traveling very recklessly through the streets of Whittier now as LAPD is pulling back a little bit. When we get a chance, we'll see just how far back they had to pull back because they were unable to keep up with him through some of those maneuvers. But the airship still overhead following this pursuit as he continues to jump over this median, comes up on a red light, and once again back on the wrong side of the road. That could have been so much worse. Yeah, that was a really close call there. Here comes another close call. I mean, he's going through every single red light, barely slowing down. We're not seeing a lot of hard braking here. He's just running for it, gunning through these intersections, and when he sees any sign of traffic in his way, here comes another patrol car going the opposite direction. He just goes right around it without any regard for the traffic coming towards him or without any regard for anybody else's safety for that matter. He really is running like a madman through the streets here, now getting back on the freeway from the westbound side of Whittier Boulevard. And that's going to put him, we're going to be back on the 605 southbound. 605 southbound now from Washington Boulevard. No, he jumped right over that gore point, over the curb there, and you could see why this vehicle may have run a flat tire there. It's just a kind of a remarkable that it's in as good a shape as it is, the way he's driving the end of the road for him on the 605, and he's not showing any signs of getting off. In fact, I don't think there are even any more exits to get off at. So now he's going to either go north or south on the 405 freeway. And while he's had the luxury of light traffic on the 605, I don't have to tell you, Mark and Colleen, traffic on the 405 here in, what is it going to be, at Seal Beach, the Seal Beach area, is not going to be very friendly for him. And so we'll see if he sticks with the freeway or decides to get off. But look at the way he's already getting over to the right side here on the 605. We will see. It looks like he is taking the southbound side. Well, too early to say. I think he's going to take the south. No? Hugging the right there. That right lane may put him on the northbound side. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see where this transition takes him. He's getting off, I think, off of the southbound side and onto the 405 north. Westbound 22 freeway. So this is going to put him on the 22. Westbound 22, and then heading towards Long Beach. Exactly right. It sure is. right here. In fact, it's going to end right here. And as I look off the nose here, we are back on city streets where traffic is going to start to increase. Volume's increasing already as he approaches a red light. And now we're going to start to, look at this. He's going to start losing control of the vehicle, a little bit of fishtailing as he tried to navigate this little traffic jam here at a red light over the median, now going the wrong way once again. Going the wrong way on Surface Street once again, around all of that traffic, swerving all the way to the right shoulder here, and he's really having trouble dealing with this vehicle now. If he continues at these speeds, just hit the wall, hitting the wall, crashing into other vehicles. He made contact there with a work truck, a box truck. It looked like he touched it and is already starting to lose part of that flatbread. Look at this, over the curb, over the median, and just, I mean, this for what? Look at this, crashing into vehicles. 1, 2, 3 innocent motorists, just dragging them along through the intersection at Bellflower Boulevard, passing through Bellflower on 7th Street, going the wrong way again. He has no regard for any of this oncoming traffic, trying to get around and crashing into everybody and everything in his way. Still not slowing down. Lost his tire, Colleen. He's just lost that front left tire. He's now running on the rim here. Heavy damage on that front of that vehicle, with very, very heavy damage on the front end of that vehicle, and that tire is pretty much gone. So at least the front left tire. Oh no. It's not only is it not going to hold, look at this, he's squeezing through everybody coming in his direction. They're all swerving on either side of him. He's going to he's going to get into another head-on collision here. There it is, head-on collision into an SUV. We are seeing dozens of vehicles damaged in this pursuit, and that was probably one of the most serious right there. Just ran right into the front of that SUV. CHP has given this up. They have now created distance. They are now putting this back in tracking mode for the time being. They have pulled back, and you can see he is still straddling the double yellow lines, crashing into another vehicle. That flatbed is made of steel that is just doing tremendous damage with very little damage to the vehicle other than the front end damage that we're already seeing there. But what we were saying, Mark, is that front left, oh no, there it is! There it is! 2 vehicles into cross traffic, a major collision into the front of a paint store at the strip mall at 7th Street and Termino Avenue, ramming right through those 2 vehicles, the driver stepping out of the vehicle and now walking away from the crash scene. That driver now walking away from the crash scene, 2 major crashes there, and now he's walking up the sidewalk. CHP is close by, the Sheriff's Department is close by. Long Beach police are likely on their way over here, and hopefully somebody will be able to get this person off of the sidewalk. Right now there are numerous casualties here. Look at the condition of that vehicle. We're going to try and keep an eye on the suspect and also those vehicles as well. We're going to stick with the driver here as he walks up the block here around the strip mall off of 7th Street onto Miramar Avenue. We know that law enforcement is watching our feed right now. We want to stick with the driver as he continues this stroll away from the crash scene. It ended about as badly as we were thinking it might. There were dozens of crashes there. At the very end of this pursuit, he went right through all of that traffic, ramming into everybody in his way, right through red lights, into cross traffic, eventually losing control of the vehicle because of that tire. He was unable to retain control of that vehicle, Mark, just like we were talking about. And he went right into the front of that strip mall. This is Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street in East Long Beach. No, it's LAPD. LAPD taking the suspect down. We're going to come around. Let's come around the tree. Let's come around the tree. And it looks like LAPD has taken this suspect down to the ground on the sidewalk there at Miramar Avenue, just off of 7th Street. Numerous officers, as we come around this tree, now taking that suspect into custody. absolutely. He's still putting up a struggle. He's still putting up a struggle. They're trying to get this guy into handcuffs. He is fighting a bit. Can't see what's happening underneath that tackle there, but you can see that they are having a little bit of a hard time as this suspect appears to be resisting slightly here. Very difficult to tell from this angle, but it's all happening right here along Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street here in East Long Beach. We're going to stick with this shot momentarily. We will go back to the crash scene where it did appear at least one of those vehicles, as you mentioned, Colleen, was very heavily damaged, especially the front seats. The driver and passenger seat appeared to be smashed in, and that was just a really high speed crash here. Looks like they've got this situation under control. Let's take it over to the intersection. Let's take it. Yeah.
As he headed toward Long Beach, the driver became more frantic, speeding wildly down the busy roadway, leaving several vehicles with minor damage. However, as traffic stopped at an intersection, the suspect rammed the work truck into the rear of at least 3 vehicles, cutting through the wreckage. Despite a punctured front tire, the suspect continued to speed, struggling to maintain control, and struck more vehicles before crashing into the roadway. He eventually collided with an SUV and a pickup truck while running a red light. The force of the collision caused the work truck to roll into the parking lot of a Sherwin-Williams paint store, where it came to a stop against a concrete barrier near the front door. The suspect then exited the truck and began shuffling away from the scene. He appeared to have walked several blocks before Los Angeles Police Department officers caught up with him and wrestled him to the ground. Approximately a dozen officers responded to the scene and struggled to apprehend the man. At least one officer was injured during the altercation and later transported from the scene by ambulance. Long Beach paramedics also treated the driver of the SUV the suspect violently struck at the end of the chase and transported him to a hospital in unknown condition. Paramedics were also seen treating the suspect at the scene for unknown injuries. Suspect eludes Southern California Highway Patrol in bizarre, high-speed chase. A motorist eluded authorities, at least temporarily, after a bizarre, high-speed chase across several San Fernando Valley freeways on Wednesday evening, March 26, 2025, marking the third police chase in 3 hours in Southern California. California Highway Patrol officers began the pursuit after spotting a driver driving a dark-colored sedan on Interstate 405 shortly before 6:30 p.m. The driver refused to stop when officers attempted to stop him. Officers ordered the suspect to stop accelerating, and shortly thereafter, he attempted a failed pit maneuver, partially tearing off the car's rear bumper.
wasn't quite effective enough. The car did spin out, but the driver was able to regain control. And in the process, the rear bumper was nearly ripped off, and that's why you see it in the condition that it's in now. That was a failed pit maneuver attempt by CHP. So they remain behind the suspect, who is now speeding again, apparently complaining or calling in a dispatch at CHP saying the brakes don't work on the car, that's why I'm not stopping. Obviously, that is not the case. We just saw the car moving at a high rate of speed on an off-ramp. The driver was able to bring the car down nearly to a stop and went across the overpass and back to northbound 101, where he is again on the shoulder of the freeway. This is the original violation we believe he's wanted for by CHP. Obviously now felony evading, add that to the list, and a growing number of charges as the suspect continues to run in desperate fashion, much like the one we saw just moments ago here on KTLA. CHP again in pursuit. And this shoulder, you know, it's bigger in some spots and smaller in others, making it difficult for CHP, Gil, to stay behind him.
Absolutely, and you can see how difficult it is for the driver to even stay in control, hitting some dirt at times going up onto that shoulder of the shoulder. So here he is in a gore point. He's going to come right behind that Mercedes, I think that is, and he's going to cut in, cross into lanes now. So we see a little bit more aggressive driving here in the middle of the freeway. Now he's got the 170-101 split here. We'll see which direction he goes. If he stays in these lanes, it'll be 101 freeway back towards the east. I'm sorry, back towards the west. So we'll see if he comes back over at the last minute or not. He's got some room to run here on that part of the freeway, and it looks like he's committed right now. Nope, let's see. He's going to go 170 freeway northbound. 170 north, it looks like, and is going to go through, yeah, definitely past the 101 here on the 170 now into carpool lane.
So we've seen the southbound 405, the southbound 101 exiting the freeway in the Cahuenga Pass, hitting 101 again northbound, and now to the 170 northbound, looking for wide open road ahead, and the driver has found it here on the 1.
The suspect then crossed onto Highway 101, speeding again across the shoulder and swerving dangerously into and out of heavy traffic, before entering Highway 170 and exiting at Oxnard Avenue. At a stoplight, the driver passed other drivers and entered the NoHo West Shopping Center, where the vehicle was reportedly abandoned on the first floor of the building near Starbucks. Shortly before 7 p.m., the Los Angeles Police Department and California Highway Patrol called off the search for the driver, despite unconfirmed reports that the license plate had returned to a home 2 blocks away.